Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, Drew Gann and Rusty Witten. Now, let's get to the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Two Buck Sports Show, live on your Tuesday lunch break. If it's early, went a little early today because we both have some work stuff going on. Me in particular have a meeting here in a little bit. So instead of just pre-recording, we thought, let's give the people the show a little bit early. So welcome to my guy, Drew Gann, a.k.a. Uncle Buck. What's happening, Uncle Buck? You good in North Mississippi?
Man, it's all systems go here in North Mississippi. You know, we're just living the dream here. Glad we woke up another day.
Yeah, that's it, man. And I owe you a bit of a congratulations, sir. This is our 150th episode. That's 150 roughly times that you've had to put up with my goofy self and tomfoolery on this show. Man, it's been a wild ride from the start on Skype and whatever else we were using, GarageBand and all the things in our old 1970s Oldsmobile to the spaceship that we're now a part of Bluff City Media. So thank you for putting up with me, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you know, it takes commitment to do this. I mean, I'm not trying to, toot our own horn here, because the truth is, like, yes, there's a time commitment. You got to make things work, but when you're doing it with your best friend, like, it's not really that much work, And so we love each other. We love the Memphis Grizzlies. We love talking sports, and we're glad to do it right here on Bluff City Media.
Yeah, so, we love to argue and we love to yell at each other and come back to earth afterwards. So thank y'all for putting up with that, and we won't waste any more time.
That's right, buckets. It is Tuesday, and we are the Two Bucks. We are on Bluff City Media's YouTube channel right now, and on their X stream. If you are on X right now, I will cordially like to invite you over to the YouTube page, hang out with King Meeks. He's already in the comments over here saying he missed us. I mean, if you miss us, you don't have many friends. So love you, King Meeks. And it's Tuesday, and as we start every single Two Bucks show off on Tuesdays, it's me and Buckets catching up of what happened over the weekend. We call it our best and beef of the week. Rusty, I set him up, you knock him down. What's the best thing that happened to you this week?
Mama Lee came and saw me on Saturday, man. Like I said last week, we got a great time. We did a lot of Memphis things. We did Trader Joe's. She's never been to Trader Joe's, so we hit that up. Had lunch at a place called the Slider Inn. If you know, you know. They serve like little slider sandwiches and fries. Super good, cool little spot in Cooper Young. Hit an art festival up downtown and just had a Memphis day. It was a lot of fun, and it was a great time seeing Mama Lee hanging out. You know, obviously you don't get to see her as much as I would love to, so it was nice for her to sneak over here for the day. So definitely the highlight of the weekend was hanging out with Mama Lee.
Yeah, it would have been the highlight of my weekend as well if I got to hang out with Mama Lee. So
I mean, it'd be the highlight of anybody's weekend.
So glad Mama Lee got to come up and have a Memphis experience with you on Saturday. I've got a laundry list. I mean, it was a good weekend. It's a good start of the week here. For starters, my best of the week, couple different things. First, we had awards day for the kids the last 2 days. Braxton's was yesterday. Close was today. They racked up. They got to be celebrated. Their grandmothers came in, and we got to just kind of take pictures and let them see all their hard work kind of get announced in front of everybody. Yeah. And so that's always fun as a parent, especially, listen, these kids are nerds. They excel at school for reasons that, like, I can't really explain, because they don't ever do homework. So they don't ever do work at home. So, I mean, God-given, I guess, and, they do well in school. So I wish I could take a lot of credit for it, but honestly, I can't. Mm-hmm. But they rack up, and there's always, like, hold your applause until the end of the class kind of thing. Every time they call out one of our kids' names, and they go through the laundry list of best of that they did this year, there's just kind of like and everybody just kind of look around. And I was like, yeah! But also, and most importantly, I guess, I had the honor Saturday of baptizing my son.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
And so that was amazing. We got to do that Sunday morning at church, and just love every minute of it. And so just seeing your families grow up in church and make that kind of decision, man. Nothing makes me feel better, and I don't care how many academic awards they get. Like that was it. That was it.
That's cool, man. Good for you, buddy. That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. Got Wayne in the comments with another epic picture here for today of a young Andrew Gann. But the most Memphis thing you can do when visiting Memphis, in my opinion, is just eat, because there's a bazillion options for and all different types of food, from barbecue to Southern to sweets to breakfast food. Like if you go hungry in Memphis, it's your own daggum fault.
Yeah, Memphis for sure, but just in the South in general. Yeah. Like that's all we do. Like I think people around the other parts of the United States and the world are thinner because they do other things for fun. In the South, we eat for fun. You want to go celebrate, you eat. Mm-hmm. You're lonely, you eat. You're happy, you go eat. Like I mean, that's
it, man. And while we're eating, we're planning the next thing we're going to eat. Like it's one of the wildest things my family always does. Is you're eating breakfast, you're talking about what you're going to have for lunch. You're eating lunch, you're talking about what you're going to have for supper, and you just stay after it, man. And that's why we raise SEC linemen here in the South, because we just eat.
Case in point, after church on Sunday, big family meal at the Mexican restaurant. Okay. And as we're sitting there celebrating Braxton and his decision, we're talking about, his awards day is on Monday, so let's do breakfast beforehand. And then my mom comes in, and we ate breakfast for Chloe's today. It's like just food, man, just food.
That's it, man. That's it. So yeah, man, it's always nice to be able to eat in Memphis. And so, Wayno, when you get here, Key Mix is already calling it out. We got to go eat, and eat often when you get here, man.
Yeah, yeah. So all right, Rusty, what's your biggest beef of the week?
I mean, honestly, things are going pretty well right now. I don't have a ton of complaints. I could throw in something about allergies here, but I want to refuse because I don't want to get yelled at. I think that might be my biggest beef. No, I mean, things are good, man. When my biggest beef is you don't have a beef, like life's going pretty good. Other than, I guess maybe I could make my beef the fact that we have all this good food to eat here in Memphis, and just talking about it, I'm already starting to gain some weight. And so it is what it is, I guess. How about you, man? What's your biggest beef of the week?
The weather. I'm not going to complain about like allergies that everybody else complains about, including Rusty. Thinks he's special to complain about allergies.
Yeah.
But unlike everybody else, when the weather moves in, your boy goes to work. And say Sunday night after such a great Sunday, my wife wakes me up at midnight, was like, it's really bad outside. And I look over and there's my phone, and it is just blowing up. And on my body went the work pants and the boots, and I worked all night. So I'm still, and at 33 years old, that's right, 2025 minus 1992. Yeah, 33 years old.
Yeah,
I don't recover as quick as I used to. Like I was still feeling it today. I'm not right now. I told Rusty, I was like, I'm just not really feeling great. It's only because I pulled one all-nighter 2 days ago.
Yeah. It is what it is, man. I guess that's the beef that we all share is we're getting older. It beats the alternative, I reckon.
Yes.
But we are getting older, and our bodies don't recover. Our bones and joints make a lot more noise than they once did. And we certainly aren't getting any prettier. I mean, this is as good as it's going to get.
I will end this segment and move on to our Grizzlies talk with a quote from the great Jimmy Buffett. I'm growing older, but not up.
That's it, man. That's it. Couldn't have said it better myself. But with that, before we transition to our Grizzlies talk, I do want to talk about our newest partnership with Ounce of Hope here at Bluff City Media. We're excited to partner with these guys. Cam and his team are doing a fantastic job at raising awareness here in Memphis and growing the education about the alternatives that are out there. Having experienced their stores in person, I can attest to the helpfulness of their bud tenders, their product selection, and helping point you in the right direction. With 2 convenient locations in Memphis at 5101 Sanderland Avenue, Unit 114, or 553 South Cooper Street, you can pop in and check out their setup, man. From the moment they check your ID to meeting with the bud tenders to the checkout process is super simple, super easy to get you the products you need to help you relax and wind down on the weeknights and weekends. For me, it's absolutely their seltzer line, and with flavors like Cherry Jane, which is a new favorite of mine, High Lime, and Peach Buzz, which is the GOAT, I can guarantee you these are a tasty alternative to heavy alcohol and to help you unwind. They're the perfect hangover-free solution for day drinkers, wine enthusiasts, and anybody wanting to take the edge off. Check them out at ounceofhope.com as well. You can use the code BluffCity, all one word, all caps, for 15% off any purchase. Your first purchase cannot be combined with other promotions or discounts, one per customer. Check them out at ouncehope.com or at one of their convenient Memphis locations today.
All right. Segment number 2. 2 for Tuesday, as we say here.
Ooh.
As of now.
I missed the 2 for Tuesday at Sonic, man. They used to do that all the time, or the 5 for Tuesday, whatever that old
now
cheeseburger
everything's
thing
on
was.
an app. The only deals you get anymore at fast food restaurants is if you use their app. It is, oh man, let's go back to the first segment. I've got a beef.
Nothing makes you sound like a boomer than having beef with technology. I was giving out my digital business card last night because our company's going away from like paper business cards, and I had to like walk like 4 people through how to use their phones, scan the QR code, like all the things.
That is saving hundreds of dollars company wide, hundreds of dollars one time.
I mean, I get it, like dozens of dollars. No, I get it, man. But it was just funny walk these people through the process. But yeah, Drew, we do have basketball, and it may not be Memphis Grizzlies related directly, but one part of it is, let's start with the Boston Celtics. We'll get to the conference finals here in a minute, but it's pretty obvious that the Boston Celtics are going to be pivoting and changing some of their personnel. Derek White has been listed as somebody that the Warriors are going to pursue pretty heavily this offseason. But I want to talk about Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is a guy that has been kind of polarizing, right? He's got a finals MVP. He's got an NBA championship. He can score at a high level. He's a better than average defender, but he gets he gets a ton of hate from NBA fans across the league. Is Jaylen Brown somebody that you would like to see in a Memphis Grizzlies jersey?
Yeah, that's a stupid question, Rusty. Of course.
I mean, I'm just asking it.
Jaylen Brown is great. Like, he is. And he's probably – the Boston Celtics do him no favors because there's no reason why he should even be polarizing. But for the first 4 years of his career, like, he was constantly in trade talks. Like, constantly. And it made no sense why. But now they're kind of up against the money, because that second apron, I mean, it might as well call it a hard cap at this point, because nobody is going to go live in that second apron. You're virtually hard capped with a lot of money, and Jaylen Brown, because he's been in so many trade talks, whether they were legit or not, for the past few years, he's obviously a name that is going to be talked about. I would love to have him as a Grizzly, but ultimately, I don't think there's any way Boston trades Jaylen Brown.
No, I know. And like, his contract is pretty massive. Boston's payroll is going up, so there's going to be some pieces that are moved. That right now they're the 3rd highest salary cap or salary table in the NBA. Next year they're going to be at 227, which is the highest in the NBA. They are going to be flirting with a lot of tax implications, and so there's going to be a lot of contracts moved. You know, Drew Holiday might be one. Derek White's $30 million contract might get moved. Porzingis is still owed another year on his deal. I think there's going to be some reshuffling of the deck, but I tend to agree. Like, I think it's like Giannis, like it's a pie in the sky type trade. Like, oh man, it'd be so great to get Jaylen Brown. But I think if you really stop and look at it, the Boston Celtics are going to rebuild around Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and not just Jason Tatum.
Yeah, I think the most likely, and I think it's almost a given at this point, that they do something with Porzingis. Yeah, I would kill for Jaylen Brown or Luke Cornett. I mean, Luke Cornett's one of us. You know, you'd love to have Luke Cornett. You know, Luke Cornett can start over Zach Edey anytime. Just give me the big oaf.
Anyway, I'm going to leave that completely alone. As a Zach Edey hater, it's wild that we still get those takes. But anyway, Boston's going to be doing some retooling and probably need to keep up in the Eastern Conference, because they were eliminated last week, leading to an Eastern Conference Finals matchup that 1995 would be jealous of. Drew, there's so many great storylines here. You've got Reggie Miller calling the game. You've got Spike Lee's going to be on the sideline. You've got some of the great battles in the mid-90s that they would play, you know, for the opportunity to lose to Michael Jordan in the Eastern Conference Finals. But there's some great rivalry here. And so it's a new iteration of the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. First thoughts on the Eastern Conference Finals?
I mean, this is great for me. Like I have no problem with small market teams coming in.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you're hating on Indiana right now, then you're part of the problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they play such a fun brand of basketball. They play pretty good defense despite running as fast as anybody has ever ran in the NBA. I mean, they are just on the run at all times. And then, styles make fights here. And New York, I mean, they've got the superstar. They've got Brunson, they've got Towns, they've got the high price tag. It's everything you think that a New York team would be. They've assets mean nothing to them. They're going to go try to find big name players. They went and traded 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, and then they traded Julius Randle and DiVincenzo to go get Cat. And they've got the names, they've got the iconic uniforms, they've got Spike Lee. But they're going up against an Indiana team that, because they're from Indiana, is not going to be talked about favorably. And I want to stop that. I love Indiana. I'm rooting for Indiana. And largely because, as a Memphis Grizzlies fan, I know what it's like to feel slighted, like nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
And so give me Indiana. They're more fun to watch. They're a grassroots kind of organization and a lineup that is largely developed in-house. I mean, even Halliburton, he spent a year in Sacramento?
Yeah, and then came into his own in Indiana.
Right. So yeah, give me Indiana. I love the matchup. It feels like David versus Goliath because that's how the media wants us to feel. And I love rooting for David in these situations. So yeah, give me Indiana. I love it.
I agree. And I'm right there with you. Like, Indiana's fun to watch. They're a small market, much like us. They've got a chip on their shoulder. And Drew, out of all the teams left, they're playing the most team-oriented basketball because they have just a bunch of role players. Like, the Knicks have Brunson and Cat, and they've got these superstars, right? And you've got Hallie, who's a part-time superstar, who's good sometimes, and then he's also just not good. And so, this Pacers team is just fun because it's a bunch of role players, right? You've got Pascal Siakam, who was moved out of Toronto. You've got Obi Toppin, who was a former Knick and is now in the Pacers rotation and playing really good basketball for them right now. I'm excited to watch the Cat Miles Turner matchup to see what Miles Turner, who's been in some DPOY conversations in the past, can do with Cat. I just think if Indiana can keep this slowed down in the mud, in the half court, just like they did with Cleveland, they got a real shot here to upset the Knicks and head to the NBA Finals, I was talking about this more on the daily grind. The crowd pops and environment at these Indiana home games has been, outside of Oklahoma City, the best in the playoffs. And so it's easier for me to say that because I hate Oklahoma City. We'll get to them here in a minute.
Right.
But that Pacers home court advantage is they're loud, they're rowdy, and it's a fun place to watch basketball. So I'm excited for what this is going to turn into and what this series could be. Now, it could very easily be a sweep because you've got the Knicks, who are a great basketball team. They're hot. They're playing good, playing well together. I just don't see it being that. I think this probably goes 6 or 7, and you get some epic games out of these two teams. Drew, who's going to be the unsung hero? We've talked about the guys, right? Hallie, we've talked about Brunson, we've talked about Cat. But if the Knicks win, who is the unsung guy? Or if the Pacers win, who's got to be that guy for them?
Oh, hit me out of nowhere with that one. Listen,
yeah, no,
a playoff series, especially in the third series, I mean, this is conference finals. It's less about the superstar. The superstar wins the game for you in the end. Like Brunson, if this is a tie game, give me Brunson every time.
Every time.
But to get you to that point, it is about lowering the floor of your worst player. So who's your worst player? And that's the person, and it doesn't have to be the same guy every night. But one of those guys has to step up. You look at that Denver series when you had, what's his name? Went nuclear in game 6. Swather, Julian Strawther.
Yeah, thank you. I was pulling up the stat line.
If you look at that, maybe one night for the Knicks, you need a big, Josh Hart to shoot the ball well, and because they're going to leave Josh Hart open more times than not. So you're going to need Josh Hart to shoot the ball well, or Mitchell Robinson to have a big double game and make some foul shots. Or if you're Indiana, we talked about Obi Toppin. He's been so much fun to watch because he's totally changed this game. But he's the type of player that the Knicks are going to be comfortable leaving open. And so can guys like Obi Toppin make shots? And that's what's going to keep you in games, because from the time the ball is tossed at half court to start both these games, every team out there is going to have a guy that they're comfortable with making making shots.
Yeah.
So
agreed. And so
whoever that guy's going to be is going to be the most critical person.
Yeah, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Miles McBride come to mind for the Knicks. Is it Toppin? Is it Mathurin? Can he behave and not get kicked out? Is it Nesmith who steps up and scores? There's going to be a lot of young, unsung heroes, like you said, that set the table for Jalen Brunson to take it home for the Knicks, or Howley to hit the game winner, which both of them have proven to be some of the most clutch players in the NBA playoffs, winning multiple games for their teams. So I'm excited about that Eastern Conference Finals matchup.
Yeah.
And then coaching as well. Last thing I'll say about it before we move to the Western Conference, coaching. You got Rick Carlisle, former player, great coach, knows basketball, won in Dallas, now winning in Indiana, plays a big team, again, plays more players. Then you've got Tibbs, who runs his starters 40, 42 minutes a night, might play 6, 7 guys, which he kind of has now with McBride and Mitchell Robinson playing good basketball. But it's two contrasting styles. So it'll be interesting to see which one prevails in the Eastern Conference Finals. But speaking of contrasting styles, we have got the two best defensive teams in the NBA facing off in the Western Conference Finals. They've been two of the better defensive teams in the playoffs, just absolutely crippling their opponents. I'm of course talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder, who is one of the best defensive teams we've seen in a long time, only losing 14 times in 82 tries in regular season against a kind of an unheralded back-to-back Western Conference Final participant in the Minnesota Timberwolves. You've got Ant, who's quickly becoming back in the face of the league superstar conversation after some of his tomfoolery this year, but taking out Luka and LeBron, taking out Steph and Jimmy Butler, has the opportunity to take out SGA and propel the Wolves to the finals. Drew, what's your first thought about the Western Conference Final teams?
I really, really don't want to see Oklahoma City win a game. That's my first thought. Like, nice. Listen, I don't quite get it. I don't think why I hate them so much, but I just do. And probably, if I had to guess, is that I kind of saw them as a peer, like someone that you could judge the Grizzlies timeline against, and they've just blown us out of the water. And so, yes, is it salt? More than likely.
Well, and they copied our style, like word for word, bar for bar. Soulja Boy once said they do everything we did, but way cornier, and they get love for it when we got hated on for it. So that's also part of it.
Right, and then we folded and quit carrying it on. We didn't punch back, and so I don't care for them. I'm not the biggest SGA fan, and he's their best player, so it's like they're kind of easy to hate for me. And you contrast that with, in my opinion, one of the most likable superstars is Anthony Edwards, because I love a guy that talks trash and backs it up. If you know anything about me, I love a boisterous, in-your-face athlete, as long as they meet 2 criteria. They back it up, and when they don't, they take their medicine. Yeah. And so Ant is that guy, and so I am a big Ant fan, but above all else, and it's the reason why if they do upset OKC and they do make the finals, I will root for Minnesota. It's because Mike Conley plays for them. Yeah, I love Mike Conley, and whereas he's not like the guy, like he's not exactly Mike Conley for the Grizzlies or even Utah, because Ant is a big ball handler for that team. I just root for him, and I want him to get one so dang bad, man.
Yeah. Even if it means Rudy Gobert getting one, like I'm fine with that because it's Mike Conley. It's my captain. Yeah. Oh, captain, my captain. I will always forever love Mike Conley for his contributions to the Grizzlies, and that 11 will be hanging in the FedEx Forum immediately upon his retirement. Just a classy dude. And I'm like you, man. Like, I'm going to be rooting for Minnesota hard in this series, especially.
Right.
But if they make it to the finals, just something about that. Like, same with when Mark was with Toronto. Like, I just want to see Mike finally get that ring and put a cap on what has been an incredible NBA career for one of our own. Right. But we saw what Oklahoma City can do in a heartbeat. King Meek's talking about here in the comments where Minnesota can't afford a lot of turnovers. That second quarter on Sunday, that's exactly what happened to the Nuggets. They quit making shots. They started turning the ball over. and Oklahoma City went on like a 20-4 run and just buried that team. And that's where Oklahoma City can get you in trouble. With Minnesota, much like Indy, they have to keep this thing in a half-court game because this turns into a sprint fest and a track meet. Oklahoma City will absolutely double up Minnesota before a quarter is over.
Yeah. Minnesota can score in buckets too, but this team just turns you over at such a high rate that it's virtually impossible to go a whole game without allowing one of these spurts to happen, because it will happen. I mean, you look back at game 6 of the Western Conference semis against Denver. You know, Denver had that game handedly, and they got lax with Oklahoma City, you know, went for it. You know, they didn't have nearly enough time left. But what you saw is because they never took their foot off the gas and they started pressing and causing turnovers, Aaron Gordon got hurt because of it. Because Aaron Gordon just threw the ball to probably Caruso and then got shook and had a grade 2 hamstring sprain at the end of it over something that was just totally avoidable and non-consequential to the game at all. But that's what you're going to see at Oklahoma City is they're going to press you. They're going to get deflections, and you've got to be able to minimize. And that's where I think a guy like Mike Conley comes in as a guy that can just settle down. And hopefully that, you know, they can just collectively take a breath when that tsunami hits, because it will hit. You can't let it – you can stand a 10-0 run. You can't, in the Western Conference semis, sustain a 20-0 run. Like, you're just going to have to really take a deep breath, flush it, and start with the next play of having a successful play, because it will snowball on you if you don't.
And that's where
not mentally strong.
Chris Finch can come in as well and help derail some momentum through timeouts, timely substitutions. And I think this is going to be another great young coaching matchup, whereas the other one is some of the older guard NBA coaches. You've got some of the younger, more hot coaches in Chris Finch and Mike Danehold in this matchup. But, Drew, an interesting player I want to talk about is Julius Randle. Julius Randle's had a bit of a career resurgence here in these playoffs. And it's like Parrish said on the Daily Grind last week, it's in those muddy, those gross games where Julius Randle can help you, right? In those half-court games in the mud. And that's where Minnesota can help dictate pace here, because if this turns into a track meet, that's one player that will quickly get played off the court, because Julius Randle does not do well in an up-and-down, fast-break style game. Julius Randle has got Chet Holmgren is likely who he's going to be facing in most of his matchups. Chet, or maybe some Caruso, because Caruso works.
Tomato chest.
That's it, man. Like, I'm telling you, like, if I'm Julius Randle, I'm doing what I wanted Jaren to do and run through that, you know what's chest, that first
as Marshawn Lynch once said.
That's it. Over and over and over until Chet gets those wide deer in the headlight look and he gets played off the court, because Randle is the bully that can absolutely do that.
Yeah. Listen, I have eaten crow on Julius Randle virtually all year. What he did to
all
us
of us
in that play-in game.
It's all of us.
In that first play-in game, I thought I was watching left-handed Michael Jordan. I'm like, oh, no, this is Julius Randle? Like, really? I infamously said in our group message when Julius Randle was going off in the first half in that first 7-8 play-in game that the Grizzlies were in, I was like, this is good for the Grizzlies that he's making a lot of shots early, because he's going to keep shooting and he will start missing and then he will keep shooting. Egg on my face, man. The dude has been an absolute bucket. And I was listening to Dave Jacoby on the Mismatch with Vernon, the Ringer podcast, and I listened to it because he's a Knicks guy and I like hearing other opinions. And he always said, you know, Randle when he was a Knick was just an absolute liability. But what he did everywhere he's ever gone is just somehow make the most circus shots ever. And all those shots come in half-court basketball. And so as crazy as it sounds, as this thing gets into a half-court basketball, you can almost bank on Julius Randle shooting 50% over his head somehow.
Yeah, that with those Nikola Jokic type shots with 2 seconds on the shot clock, just the old heave and it'll go in.
My favorite meme ever is that dude, the double hand stone throw or whatever. It's not a shot put, but dude's it's like plays perfect defense on Nikola Jokic for 23.5 seconds. And then here comes Nikola Jokic with a ball behind him, touching the ground and launching it. And he's going to shoot like 100%. That's the worst case scenario if you're OKC, because again, You've seen a decade of Julius Randle where you're okay with him taking these shots. It doesn't lead to winning basketball until now. And so, in the back of Oklahoma City's mind, they're like, yeah, okay, Julius Randle's the guy. I talked about in the Indiana Knicks we just talked about, somebody's going to be circled. 9 times out of 10 in any year past is Julius Randle. You make Julius Randle beat you. He's beating people now. It's wild.
It's wild to see. But Julius Randle could be the X factor in this series if he can continue his career resurgence. There's no doubt about that. But Minnesota can also throw a lot of length at Oklahoma City because Oklahoma City's a big team with the big Jalen Williams and Chet and Holmgren and all this size. Minnesota's got Naz Reid.
What is Chet's last name?
Holmgren, right?
Holmgren.
I was so close.
I was like, he's saying something wrong, but I can't tell you what it is. I know.
Listen, man, you don't come here
I know
for
he's
smarts.
saying it wrong.
That's it. You don't come here for smarts. You come here for the tomfoolery and buffoonery.
We don't come here to play school.
That's it. You got a lot of size at Oklahoma City, and Minnesota can throw size at them as well with Naz Reid and Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert and Jaden McDaniels. They got some bigger guys, and I think that's going to be an interesting matchup with the size that they have that they can throw at Oklahoma City. I think that can help slow down some of this Oklahoma City onslaught. It's just which defense is going to break first, right? Both of these teams have been playing defense at a very high level. Which defense is going to break first?
I think that Minnesota has the length at the wings to contest better than any team that Oklahoma City has faced so far. But you've got to have the rotations there. The length is there. But listen, Oklahoma City cannot be overlooked, obviously. And you look at, like, you're talking about who defends Randall, like Caruso. Like, he was amazing against any center that he's played. Like, he turned over Jokic. Like,
I mean, everybody wanted to give Jaren, crap for being overrated, and Jaren didn't have a great series. But then Caruso turned around and did the same thing to the best player in the world through hooking and holding and being a bit aggressive. And that's where I think like Minnesota can kind of play into it. Like I've been saying all along, Denver got some wins out of that series by playing into Oklahoma City's aggressiveness, getting them fouling, getting to the free throw line. Can Minnesota replicate some of that and get some success against Oklahoma City?
I think it's likely this is a quick series. If I play the devil's advocate for Oklahoma City right now, like Minnesota has played the Lakers, with a hobbled LeBron and a team that wasn't built to like play in the postseason this year because they have not built around Luka yet, had not had the opportunity to. And then they played the Warriors, who only played Steph Curry for the first half of game 1. So, and you look at that, and it's not, you look at who the big men are. Like that, those are teams that can feast, that Julius Randle can feast against, because who's guarding you, really?
Right.
And you look at how Oklahoma City differs, and you've got Chet, you've got Hartenstein, and then you've got Caruso as a change of pace. If you just want to like just play, try to be Peanut Tillman here and just peanut punch balls all over the court. Like Julius Randle can't dribble good enough to not allow Alex Caruso to peanut punch these basketballs across the court.
Exactly. So it'll be an interesting series. Again, the two best defensive rating teams in the NBA playoffs going head to head. I don't know. I think this could be a fun series. I think this could go 5 or 6, maybe 7, but I don't know what Minnesota's going to be able to do. Nobody's been able to slow down Oklahoma City yet enough to beat them in a 7-game series.
But
Minnesota has their work cut out of them. Yeah, but I mean, it did.
They did show blood in that in that Denver series.
Denver series, for sure.
Denver, I was not counting Denver out in a game 7, even on the road, because you've got 3-time MVP, NBA champion Nikola Jokic. Turns out, Aaron Gordon with a bum leg, and the rest of that team it's blood in the water, for Oklahoma City at home. I think Minnesota gets a couple games. I do. I think it's 6. Most likely 6. But if you ask me if it was 7 or 5, I'd probably say 5. I just think that Oklahoma City is devastating.
They are.
And you're banking way too much on Julius Randle. I'm still not believing.
No,
I'm
same.
still not.
I mean, same. Me neither.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sitting here saying that Julius Randle's going to propel them to a finals, but if you
Right.
get good Julius Randle, then there's a chance he propels you to the finals.
If Julius Randle playing as well as he has leads Minnesota to a NBA Finals and they happen to win, Julius Randle probably needs the MVP trophy.
Oh, it's no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. But yeah, a lot of basketball left. It starts tonight. Oklahoma City's on a very short rest. They played Sunday, played tonight at home against Minnesota. First game 7:30, local tip on ESPN. I feel like this is the game that Minnesota can win because of that short rest. It's the first time Oklahoma City's really been tested with short rest. Remember, they took care of the Memphis Grizzlies pretty quick and basically had a month off before they had to face the Nuggets. So I'm curious to see what that's going to do, that quick turnaround is going to do to them with a quick change of pace for tonight.
You say that, and conventional wisdom does lend that to be true. However, you look at the second round games, the two teams that went 7 in the first round blew out the two teams that had a rest in the first round. You look at Golden State after going 7 against Houston, blew out Minnesota in game 1. Minnesota won that series in 5. And then the other series was Denver. Denver blew out Oklahoma City, after going 7 against Oklahoma City against the Clippers. Oklahoma City getting a sweep in the first round.
Yeah. We'll find out tonight. Tip 7:30. We're going to have basketball every other day going here forward until we know who our NBA final participants are. We'll also likely find out who the NBA MVP is. And I feel like after the series is over, it's SGA by a mile.
Well, it's a regular season award. They want you to know that.
I
got a beef. Like, why are we stretching this out over a month and a half?
I feel like
I saw that, that somebody tweeted out that tonight we're going to find out the all rookie teams. It's like, really? We made it to the conference finals and we're just not finding out who made the rookie teams? Most of these guys aren't even in the playoffs.
I mean, that's it.
We're going to wait till the conference finals.
Kevin Durant's real MVP speech was right before the opening round of the playoffs. Like, they used to tell us early, and now they're dragging it out, trying to create drama. Another reason why
make an award show. Do what the NFL does. Just do an NFL honors. Like, I get so tired of and I know they do it to draw it out to content and all this other kind of stuff and make the pregame show, get a few more numbers. But I don't even care anymore. Like, Jalen Wells is in it, but how long has it been since we saw Zachary Richichet or Alex Sarr play a basketball game? 6 weeks?
Yeah, been a minute. Been a minute. Yeah. But we have plenty more NBA to talk about over the next few days as we continue to progress towards the NBA Finals. We should hopefully know all the awards after tonight, but who knows? It may keep dragging out. But we do have another sport that we need to get to that ramps up one of our favorite weekends of the year.
Segment number 3. This is our baseball segment or our miscellaneous sports segment.
Because I do have one miscellaneous topic I want to get to first, but go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to set up baseball first. Then you can do whatever you want to do at the end. I may or may not be here. So, this is our miscellaneous sports segment. And right now it's college baseball season. The college baseball regular season ended over this past weekend with Mississippi State sweeping Missouri to drop them to 2-28 on the SEC season. And Ole Miss wins 2 out of 3 against a top 10 team, Auburn in Oxford this weekend, to put hosting back on the map for the Rebels. And you're right. This is leading up to one of my favorite weekends. It's a bucket list thing. I've never been to Hoover, but the SEC tournament starts tomorrow, Wednesday, for the college baseball. And I've never been before, and I'd love to go. Have you ever been?
I've never been. I've been by the stadium. I've seen it, but I've never been 4 games. I think it'd be awesome to go to because this is how college baseball is supposed to be. The SEC tournament in Hoover. It'll never leave Hoover. It's the perfect location for it. It shouldn't. It's just incredible baseball. And you've got a ton of great storylines heading in. State turned it around ever since we fired Lamonis. They've been on a hot streak. Texas in their first year in the conference went 22-8 and just decimated people. only to get beat in the last weekend. You have Tennessee and Arkansas with a heated last weekend of baseball. It's just a
I'd
ton
love
of
to
fun.
see those two teams just fight to the point to like you have to shut down both programs.
I mean, I would too, because I hate both of those programs equally, especially in college baseball. Like there's not a more obnoxious bunch of fans than Tennessee fans at large and then Arkansas baseball fans. So that's about the most obnoxious fan bases that you can get. And they faced off in an epic clash this weekend that Arkansas took 2 out of 3 from the Vols, who have stumbled. It's a rite of passage. When you win a national championship, you stumble a bit the next year, although Tennessee this year and LSU last didn't do quite as bad as State and Ole Miss did after we sold our souls for our titles. But Mississippi State's coming in hot. We got A&M, who has got had the worst softball start that you could possibly have, being the first #1 seed to ever lose your home regional in college softball history to the Liberty Lady Flashes. They now face Mississippi State in the opening game tomorrow night in the SEC baseball tournament. And so State has the opportunity to continue that bad luck for A&M, and I sure hope that we do.
If you were going to talk me into rooting for Mississippi State, one of the places you could start is playing against Texas A&M, but you're not quite there yet.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, so some of the things that I found funny from the college baseball season, and this is all petty, and I own it, are arguably the two best players for Ole Miss's baseball team in the 23-24 season was Liam Doyle and Andrew Fisher, starting pitcher, starting first baseman. They both left and went to Tennessee, only to finish behind Ole Miss in the standings this year, tied, but tiebreakers count. Ole Miss finishes the SEC season 16-14, which is a massive win. I believe there's only been one team ever with an RPI less than 20 with 17 SEC wins that has ever not hosted a regional. And so with one win against I believe it's the winner of Florida, and if you've got the bracket,
I can pull it up while you talk.
It will likely be Florida. With one win against Florida, Ole Miss probably puts a home regional on ice. So
it's going to come down to Ole Miss and Southern Miss, which is funny because it feels like it's always like that, like us and Southern, you know what, or y'all and Southern.
You'll know what they'll do at that point. Either Ole Miss goes to the 2 seed in Hattiesburg, or Mississippi State or Southern Miss will be the 2 seed in
Oxford. That's just how it always works out. It never fails.
And I hope they do it again because the Mustard Buzzards, I love to hate Conference USA. But they're not.
They are the ultimate little brother syndrome. But Ole Miss will face the winner of Florida and South Carolina, which is not the only worst dumpster fire than South Carolina is Missouri. South Carolina had their worst SEC season in program history this year. The fall from South Carolina from grace has been just abysmal. But State's got their work cut out for them. We've got A&M. Then if we win, we face Auburn. And if you win, you face LSU. And so just like in SEC play, as you get further in the tournament, it gets harder and harder. Yeah. State's not going to host, outside of winning the SEC tournament. But I think if you can string a couple of wins and you get to that game 8 against LSU on Saturday or Friday, and you're kind of flirting with 18 conference wins, there's a path to it. It's just an uphill battle. Our ceiling feels like a 2 seed somewhere in those lower regionals.
Yeah, and I think that's Ole Miss's floor. I think that the best story in baseball right now is how in the world did Florida get to 15-15 in the conference? Because when Ole Miss beat them their first 2 games in the series in Oxford, that dropped Florida to 0-11. They got their first SEC win against Ole Miss to go 1-11. And they have finished the SEC season at 15-15.
That's impressive. That's impressive work.
Yeah.
Speaking of college, we're going to hang out there just for a minute. Drew, we don't talk a lot about swag and all that kind of stuff on this show a lot, I guess. But Tennessee is looking to leave Nike and ink the largest deal with Adidas in the history of Adidas sponsorship, becoming the flagship school for Adidas ahead of Miami, Notre Dame, and Mississippi State. I don't love Adidas gear as a Mississippi State fan. We used to be a Russell Athletic, so this is a whole lot better.
But it's a match made in heaven.
And Adidas.
Because no one can, there's nothing worse than that gaudy orange unless Adidas put something together. Like, it would be the worst. Like,
because they used to be
State
sponsored by
uniforms are
Adidas
terrible.
back in the day.
Everybody's Adidas uniforms are terrible.
Yeah, Adidas
They just have, like, look at Louisville. My goodness, they are disgusting. And they've got red and black. How do you screw up red and black? I don't know. Adidas can do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a match made in heaven.
Yeah. I hate Tennessee. They used to be sponsored by Adidas. I don't know why you'd want to go back, go back to that. But, here we are. That's it. Because they're talking like several $100 million. Like, it's a massive sponsorship, what I saw. The only good thing that, like, for State with this Adidas deal, we're kind of on a year-to-year deal with Adidas right now. We don't have a long-term deal with them. If Zach Selma doesn't do anything else for Mississippi State, get us to Jordan, because his Oklahoma ties got him there. Get us to Jordan. Boy, that'd be amazing.
Jordan will be like, okay, Zach Selman, what university do you represent? Mississippi. Ole Miss? No, Mississippi State. Let me finish. And where is that located? Starkville. Okay, that's not even on a map.
Nah, man. Make us a Jordan school.
There was always rumors that would happen at Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin's always wearing Jordan stuff. And if Ole Miss has got one thing on Mississippi State, it's like brand awareness nationwide. And like Lane Kiffin could do it.
Maybe this will be
I'll leave you there. I will leave you with this one stat. So there are 5 teams in college sports that have finished top 25, finished the season top 25 in baseball, basketball, and football. Those 5 schools: Oregon, Tennessee, Alabama, Clemson, and the Ole Miss Rebels.
Yeah, something like that.
So
with that, that's going to be
we're in
your
everything
Tuesday
school. Everything's cool.
That's going to do it for your Tuesday edition of the 2 Bucks Sports Show. I'm your co-host, Rusty Buckets, here with you always here coming in from East Memphis. Thanks for hanging out with us in our tomfoolery and buffoonery for the last 48 minutes. Go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend. And unfortunately, for those of you still here, King Meats, Wayno, looking at y'all, there are no refunds for what you heard today.
That's right, because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. Everybody be safe. We'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you for listening to the 2 Bucks Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of all things Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next time.